Good morning and a very warm welcome to the one-day national conference on contemporary issues in commerce and management. I, Dr. Divya Gadelia,
and I, Dr. Trishna Shah,
wholeheartedly welcomes you all to this academic gathering.
This conference stands as a testament to the progressive spirit that drives our academic and dialogues.
A splendid morning unfolds as we gather for the one-day national conference in hybrid mode hosted by the illustrious Faculty of Commerce and Management at UGA Tarsadia University. We extend a warm welcome to the chief guest of the event, Professor Dr. Parimal Vyas, along with the distinguished guests from the various universities across Gujarat, Dr. Jimmy Kapadia, Dr. Rajiv Shah, Dr. Mehul Thakkar, Dr. Mehul Desai, Deans and Directors, Dr. Smruti Bulsari, expert session chairs, esteemed participants and delegates, Deans and Directors, faculty members, we welcome you all.
As we embark on this intellectual journey, I would like to state a quote by Alfred North Whitehead. The art of progress is to preserve order amid change and to preserve change amid order. Thus, I encourage all participants to actively engage in discussions, exchange ideas, and forge new collaborations. Let us utilize this platform to not only enhance our understanding, but also to contribute to the advancement of knowledge in commerce and management.
The lamp lighting ceremony, a timeless tradition, signifies the dispelling of darkness and the ushering in of knowledge and enlightenment. I now invite our esteemed dignitaries to come forward and illuminate the ceremonial lamp. We are honored to welcome our chief guest, Professor Dr. Parimal Vyas, Vice Chancellor of Oro University, Dr. Kiran Pandya, Dean and Director of the Faculty of Commerce and Management, to grace this momentous occasion.
Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, may I kindly request all our esteemed guests and speakers to take their seats on the dais. We are about to commence this session, and your presence on the stage would be greatly appreciated. I request the chief guest of the conference, Professor Dr. Parimal Vyas, Dr. Kiran Pandya, and Conference Secretary Dr. Arpana Bhatti to occupy their seats on the dais.
Let's commence today's intellectual journey and allow me to present a brief overview of our esteemed university and its illustrious Faculty of Commerce and Management. Bardoli Pradesh के a public trust founded in 1960, Tarsadia has been established itself is a hub of quality education across diverse disciplines, including pharmacy, commerce, management, computer science, paramedical science, engineering, architecture, fashion designing, to name a few.
The university was established under the Gujarat Private University Act No. 25, 2011 and is recognized by the UGC Act 1956. Currently, over 10,000 students thrive across 22 institutes and departments, offering more than 80 programs. This year, the university proudly introduces 3 new courses: Masters of Science in HRM, BSc Honours in Agriculture, and BTech in Agriculture. The Faculty of Commerce and Management, founded in 2004, aims to nurture knowledgeable, innovative, and creative professionals. We offer an array of programs including PhD, MBA, MCom, BBA, and BCom with a focus on practical training, internships, and research projects, ensuring our students are well prepared for the dynamic world of commerce and management.
As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, the earth laughs in flowers. In the spirit of growth and enlightenment, we are honored to welcome our distinguished chief guest, Professor Dr. Parimal Vyas. I invite Dr. Kiran Pandya, Dean and Faculty of Commerce and Management, to do the honor. Thank you, sir. Next, I have the pleasure of inviting Dr. Kiran Pandya, Dean and Director of the Faculty of Commerce and Management and the esteemed convener of this conference, to deliver the welcome address. Dr. Pandya has been a guiding force behind this event, ensuring its successful fruition. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kiran Pandya.
Good morning to all of you. Accomplished scholar and able administrator, Professor Parimal Vyas, Dr. Kunal, my colleagues in the department, Dr. Kunal and Dr. Vijay Gondalia, invited guests, Dr. Mehul Thakkar, Dr. Ashish Pandya, Dr. Rajiv, Dr. Jimmy Kapadia, Dr. Vikram Chaudhary, please come forward. And Dean and Directors of other departments, Dr. Rosie and many others. Friends, Lord Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, he was talking to Arjuna about knowledge seeking. So he said that the knowledge seeker should find very learned guru, very learned teacher, and spend his life in the service of guru. See, I don't know Sanskrit, so I am not reciting the shloka in the Sanskrit. But the shloka you will find in chapter 4 and verses 34. What it essentially says is the role of teacher is very important in the life of knowledge. We have today knowledge seekers and learner teachers among us. So this is a very beautiful morning. Friends, I welcome you all to the University of Tarsadia for this national conference on contemporary issues of commerce and management. I am very happy that despite there is a holiday in many institutions, many delegates have come to participate in the conference. I know that some of you have especially come to listen to learned speakers like Professor Parimal Vyas. Professor Vyas told me not to introduce him. That was also befitting to his nature. He's a real scholar, so he wants him to be introduced as a student only, student of commerce and management. Friends, he's a very humble person. He's also very busy. And normally he goes to either Pune or to Goa on Saturday. But especially for us, he has spared his valuable time. So sir, it is my immense pleasure to welcome you to this campus. I am sure all the participants, delegates and faculty members will benefit from your presentation. I have heard him on a number of occasions and I have witnessed to his scholarly lectures. And that is why I thought that since he is in Surat, in a nearby town, so it is befitting to invite to this national conference. And he is the right person to discuss different issues related to commerce and management. Similarly, all other friends, principals and directors from South Gujarat region, even Principal Nayak has also joined us right now. Dr. Jayesh Desai has also come from Surat. So I welcome all of them. I am sure you will have very wonderful and enlightening time here on this campus. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Very rightly said that we teachers have a very important role to play into this knowledge-seeking world. So, moving ahead with the next program, I invite Dr. Arpana Bhatti, the organizing secretary of this conference, to share her insights about the conference and its significance.
Good morning all. Respected Chief Guest Dr. Professor Parimal Vyas, Honorable Provost of Aura University, Dr. Kiran Pandya sir, Dean Faculty of Commerce and Management, the dignitaries of the dais, esteemed speakers, delegates, special invitees, participants and dear faculty members. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this national conference on contemporary issues in commerce and management. I am Dr. Arpana Patel, an organizing secretary of this event. This conference aims to provide a platform for academics, researchers, industry experts, and students to come together and discuss pressing issues, trends, and innovations in commerce and management. We have carefully curated a lineup of sessions and presentations that will explore topics on customer satisfaction, talent management, branding, higher education, investment, neuromarketing, e-banking, sustainability, digital transformation, entrepreneurship, and many more. I am delighted to report that we have received an overwhelming response to our call for paper with over 60 plus research papers submitted from across the country. These papers showcase the latest research innovations and trends in commerce and management, and we are excited to share them with you. We are indeed fortunate to have with us today some of the most eminent speakers in their field who have graciously agreed to share their insight and expertise with us. Their presence have truly enriched this conference, and we are grateful for their contribution. To facilitate a more in-depth exploration of various topics, we have arranged 4 parallel track sessions scheduled that will run simultaneously. This session will cover range of themes from interaction of technology and commerce to the latest development in the field of management, theory and practices. Each session will feature presentation from experts in their respective fields, followed by interactive question-answer sessions and discussions. This format is designed just to encourage active participation, foster collaboration, and facilitate the exchange of ideas among delegates. During this conference today, we will encourage in thought-provoking discussion, debates, networking opportunities. We will learn from each other's experience, share knowledge, and collaborate on potential solutions to the challenges we face. To our delegates, I encourage to actively participate, ask questions, and engage in discussions. Your contribution will enrich our collective understanding and make this conference a truly enriching experience. Let us work together to make this conference a success and create a lasting impact on understanding of contemporary issues in commerce and management. Thank you, and let the conference begin.
We are privileged to have with us the luminary in the field of education, our chief guest, Professor Dr. Parimal Vyas. To introduce this eminent personality, I invite Ms. Bhavna Patel to the stage.
Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have such a beacon of excellence and eminence as our chief guest. Professor Dr. Parimal Vyas has stood to his vision of laying a conscientious and consistent focus on improving, enhancing and sustaining the quality of education, coupled with the virtues of integrity, honesty, respect and commitment. Sir is currently leading as the Vice Chancellor of Oro University, Surat, since September 2022, and was the former Vice Chancellor and also the Vice Chancellor of Maharaja Sayajirao University of Vadodara, Gujarat. Professor Vyas has been an inspiring teacher and research mentor to guide 13 PhD research scholars. Sir has successfully conducted 4 major research projects funded by the University Grants Commission, New Delhi. As an esteemed professor of management, Sir has been honored with 14 Best Research Paper Awards. He has 133 papers and articles, 12 books and 108 paper presentations to his credit at the national and international conferences and seminars. As an acclaimed academician and able administrator, Sir has extended himself to several other pivotal roles that resembles his commitment to upholding high educational standards. Professor Vyas was appointed as the member of an executive council of the State Higher Education Council. He has held memberships in several such committees constituted for appointing vice chancellors in various state universities by the Education Department, Government of Gujarat. Professor Vyas has been nominated as a member of the National Board of Accreditation and Indian Council of Cultural Relations, New Delhi. He has also been appointed several times as the chairman of NAC peer teams by the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, Bangalore, as well as chairman of several committees constituted by the University Grants Commission, New Delhi. Professor Vyas possesses a rich blend of academic and research scholarship, strong professional integrity, and administrative prudence that has excelled him as an efficacious leader. It will be a tremendous privilege for us to hear this luminary as he takes the stage to share his invaluable insights. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as I invite Professor Dr. Parimal Vyas to address the gathering. I kindly request the dignitaries to take their seats off the dais.
Good morning, everybody. I hope I'm audible. Yes. I think we teachers of commerce and management, we really do need results. So, let me at least start to express my deep sense of gratitude to my, I would say, I always introduce him as a source of inspiration, Professor Kiran Pandit. And I'll tell you, there are very few intellectuals you meet in the country with whom you can have what I would say intellectual discourse. Of that, we are passing through a kind of an education system which is more of a kind of a what you call Maggie, instant food, Maggie 2 minutes kind of a concept that was started. We are on the other side of the fence, and I really do not know how it was thought of, organizing a conference on contemporary issues in commerce and management. I think it requires a lot of challenge and a lot of courage on the part of organizers. This is my second visit to Maliba campus. I really appreciate the presence of all the, distinguished academicians, researchers, and above all my beloved students. I've come here for you because you are the future of this country. And let me tell you, it's very challenging, for a teacher. Yesterday I was listening to a video, presentation by Sudha Murthy and Rajesh Sobha, when she was given, few minutes to talk. The challenge for us is that we can talk, but really whether it really makes sense or not. At times, my personal experience is that after I read in schools for 1 hour when I come out of class, I ask myself, have I really taught them anything, or could I really make any contribution? So, basically, I'll tell you, I'm a student of marketing. And I would like to, because I'm the first speaker, probably the responsibility is more. And I'm happy that I've been allotted 25 minutes because I really just don't want to rush. But I wish that all those who are participating in this conference, when they move out of this hall, especially my students, young students, when you're pursuing your internships, you're doing research, you're looking for job opportunities, I think this conference should be dedicated to you, the generation. I won't call it generation next, we call it now generation alpha. Thank you, Mr. Kiran, you made me to read for over 10 days, and it was very, in fact, my son also holds a postgraduate, from ISB Hyderabad, so we were discussing yesterday evening. So he says that you are going with a presentation, which is in 8 slides. Last call I had with Kiran Pandey yesterday at 10:30. So he said, you are going with a presentation of 5 slides, but you need 90 minutes to talk. I said, I will give it 20 minutes. But that's why, because we teachers sometimes, when the reason why I wanted to organize my thoughts, why this presentation, because I think that's my contribution, and I expect that whenever you're going to speak, in your life, it may be an interview that you need to face in a corporate. I would expect you to organize your thoughts, pen down them, and take a perspective. That's very important, then you can reach out. So the whole idea is that if I just, because I had attended a number of conferences where keynote address would come with 10 pages, you would start reading without bothering about the presence of others. And then we all wait for the last minute, last page and all that. I don't want that to happen. I'm not going to talk on anything. What I'm going to do is that my young colleagues are sitting here, they're presenting paper, I appreciate. The biggest blunder that we as teachers will make with the moment we get conference brochure, we go to Google. Nowadays, I think there are some advanced techniques. I think with all due apology, me and Kiranji and all, if you become a vice chancellor, you are a literate head clerk. You are cut off out of academics. You are not allowed to read. I always envy him, because then you waste your time in managing administration. I have spent about how many? 84 I started, so 24 you can count. But I still believe I hardly know anything about commerce and management. So it's very interesting. Let me try to. So what I have done is that it is very difficult. When you look at commerce and functional areas of management and the intersection that is happening. What am I going to do is I'm going to raise certain issues. I'm going to tell my students who are sitting here that if you want to do research, all my colleagues, younger colleagues who are here, want to pursue a PhD, I'll tell you when we were doing PhD, guide will give a topic and we will go and we'll do it. Arpana is sitting here, I don't know what is her experience. She spent about 7 years, in my initial phase of my life. So, guide will give you a topic and then I remember, there are some stupid guides like me. I remember Arpana told me once, we're revising a chapter. She said, I'm not going to revise it anymore. Now this is all done. So I think me and Kiran Pandya we fall into that category. Why I'm telling you, is that I don't know. Still, at the age of 60, when I ask myself, is it good to be a perfectionist or is it good to be a professional? And I find your generation is quite professional. They look at their career, they are very fast. The day they join the assistant professor, they ask me, so when I'll become associate. And I think now 10 years of experience. Last week we were sitting with some important person, of education department in such committee ongoing. So we're talking a lot about the higher education area. Let me save time. Let me tell you, my dear friends, when you talk about commerce and management, I'm going to take a very different route to make my presentation. Let us remember four important issues. I will start with the first one. I don't know. I'm always influenced personally by the changes that are shaping, influencing our lives, and that is technology. Whenever I get an opportunity, I try to make others understand that you have no choice. Technology you can't decide. The world will not move. The world will not change. As per your whims. So technology is, I think, it's the force. All those who studied economics, 1990 onwards, globalization and all that. So I believe that I think if somebody will ask me to speak, the first line that I would speak is that I was taught by my professor, business is marketing. Now that is where the whole game starts. Now if I have to talk on business is marketing, I think I need about 3 hours to make you understand. Having read Philip Kotler from 1980s to 2024 and another 32 books that he has written, I still believe that whether we like it or not, 24/7, what is influencing you, me and each one of us is technology. So when you talk about contemporary issues, I think the first aspect on which I would advise you to, or I would request you to refer is the technology. Now you can call it advancement, modifications, you please add all those extensions, but basically I think I would start my presentation with what I call it as technology. Second is changing demographics. I think it's very interesting, we are looking at so many reels nowadays, I go back to those days, 1980, television entered into our homes, and then there was a debate that this would kill the culture, and I think everything has become smart, including education today in the 21st century. So the second important factor when you're talking about changing contemporary issues in commerce and management, after you get yourself educated, either you start your own venture or you would go and contribute with your skills and expertise to some company, some corporate, or maybe go to some other organization. So demographics, I think it's very interesting, changing demographics. So that is the second important aspect that one has to talk about when you talk about contemporary issues in commerce and management. The third is the economic shifts. I think that is also one of the very important aspects, we being democracy, we have a different way of, looking at, and I really do not know. Currently, recently a big debate is happening on constitution. I think everybody is speaking about constitution. And the fourth is cultural shift. I think these are the 4 aspects on which I would request. Before I start, I'll go a bit quickly also. I may not explain, I'll just try to touch upon. But we are all passing through Amritkal. I think let's remember, I congratulate Tarsadia University that is the right time. We are passing through Amritkal. Let's realize that. It means it is our responsibility as students, as teachers, as citizens. And what do we expect? Is that we expect that these Amritkal will enhance the citizens' well-being. That's very important, and it would bridge the developmental gaps. Let's hope that interference and the engagement of the government will gradually go down. Already you experience this shift in education, that now it is happening in health also. So I think that is what we expect. So this is also one has to keep in mind. So look at me. I think to start my presentation, let me just try to talk about. I think let's realize long back this has happened. There is one term called prosumer. I don't know. Anyone of you can reflect on. Have you heard the term called prosumer? Prosumer. What is a prosumer? What do you do when you go to ATM? What do you do to book ticket on using your smartphone, mobile phone? It means let me do it myself. I would like to do it in my own way. So prosumer is that consumer becomes a producer. Of course, this is in. I think there's already all that I'm talking about is already this happened in the developed countries. So the power has shifted now. I think when we were students, like mass manufacturing and Colgate was toothpaste and Philips was radio, and I think those days are gone. So the power has now moved to the consumers. And look at the future of marketing and business development. I think very categorically, I think we're all talking about women empowerment. I think I put it in that way. And the impact, as I started to talk about technology, the impact of nurture. Look at the business landscape. You will find a lot of repetitions because it's very difficult to comprehend and put before you. But then I hope we are all under heavy influence of digital revolution. I think I don't need to elaborate on each one of us know what is. I think digital adoption. Have any one of us thought of the way? In fact, I remember because one of my students, we worked on these aspects. All my students, when we were collectively worked for doctoral degrees, let me tell you, I'm very happy when I look back and look at the research studies that me with my team of academic family we have carried out. I think they're all contemporary issues. I think that's a kind of a joy or satisfaction that I can take. I remember mobile commerce, I spoke in 98, I hope people were not ready to believe. The biggest villain, in the rise of mobile commerce was the payment mechanism. And I think now you look at, I think we are on the top of the world as far as digital adoption. And then let me tell you, when you talk about digital adoptions, with reference to, commerce and management, we are talking about branding, which I would call it as living entities now. Brands are to be perceived as, I think those days have gone, we don't buy products, we buy brands. And brands are living entities, and there are two aspects on which we talk about, but I'm very happy that one of my scholars, he worked on lifestyle marketing. So there are very few studies that you come across lifestyle. I think I hope 24/7 the way we, I think I really don't want to go into that, but then the lifestyle choice that we have now, look at these. And please let's try to relate, because when you talk about commerce and management, you all know about millennials, and then you know about generation Z, and today we talk about generation Alpha. I think we are now going to face, when you talk about the business corporate practices, challenges that we are going to have. In fact, I am very sorry to say, I am afraid of the kind of a curriculum that we teach in MBA program. All my colleagues who are sitting here, in my university now we have introduced tri-semester MBA program from this year. I'll tell you, the whole world is undergoing a change. The entire marketing, text which was taught to me, I believe it has become redundant nowadays. The rules of the game, the way because as I told you, demographics. Now I think these are what internet babies, rise of internet babies we call it, and I'll tell you, when you look at demographics, probably the lifestyle choice is very, very contemporary. They are techno-savvy. They are talking about sustainability. That is one area which is coming up. I think you can see here. I'm talking about climate change. Maybe Arna was talking about talent management. Let me tell you, the future trendy companies would compete and will talk about the best HR practice. One of the best HR practice that I can foresee is that it would be the company which would be focusing on climate change in terms of designing all its HR policies for its people. I think I've just written to, there's a whole body of knowledge which is available. One is what you can read here is just, I wrote is physical safety. Second is mental health. The world is becoming, I'm going to speak, so I don't want to talk about online platforms and all. Yeah, let's go ahead. Now I think these are the trends to watch in 2024. Because it is commerce. The theme of this conference is commerce. One of my scholars, he was asking me, sir, I want to work in one area. Which area I should play? So I think there was shift which I have seen, commerce to e-commerce, e-commerce to e-business. It means, now that means the impact of technology and the way we conduct businesses, all processes. And now today we are talking about social commerce. I think that's very interesting. I'm going to talk about that. So e-commerce, you can see here. I may not, elaborate these in detail, but this is, I believe, this is very important. Omni-channel shopping experience. I'm just trying to touch upon. I will not elaborate, but let me tell you, the challenge before us is to integrate, to synchronize online versus offline. That's a challenge. And the third is, I'm going to speak in detail on artificial intelligence. That is where probably, I think all business schools, it has become fashionable now to offer a specialization in business analytics. So the challenge is, do we have teachers? I think I'm very afraid of doing. We have teachers who can really deal with. I'm very happy when Professor Pandya told me that now we are imparting some entities into Python and all that. I think that synchronization. See, I believe we really need to change our perception for the entire information technology, because it is affecting everything that we do, including the domain in which we are doing our research. As I told you about social commerce, to make it very simple, it is commerce under the direct influence of various social media. I think that is what sustainability, I believe that is going to be one of the areas. That's not my domain, so I'm not going to talk about it. But then, what is hyper-personalization? I think there is a rise of one trend which is called as premiumization. So that this happens. So this is hyper-personalization. I think I was talking about prosumer. In near future, we are going to design all our products, using smart devices, and the manufacturing would happen only after. So even I think that's going to be the future. Look at more before that. So I think just to shall I continue with your quote? So this is the extension of customization. Now you call it customization, you call it customerization. I think, customization is what the product would get designed, it would be prepared, it would try to meet the specific needs and wants of the customer. How do you operationalize that customization? It is customization, so I'm talking about personalized service. I think voice search is becoming extremely important. I hope many of you are using smartphones, so that is the trend. Let me come to the another one is the way we use what is called as mobile first UX design. I think all those websites which we access, they are supposed to be mobile. It should be compatible with the various mobiles which are being used by our target customers. That is one. As I told you, these research online, purchase offline, buy online, and what we call pick up in store. This is also going to influence. Hyper personalization is another aspect. Privacy and transparency. These are the issues which we are going to face. So this is the trend. And the last layer, I think, when we talk of technology, I think the human connection, the human factor. Now I believe that these are probably the trends that maybe I just thought that I would try to bring to notice. I think now let me go ahead to the next slide. I think that would be very important for us to take a position. I'm taking a position here where let me try to talk about, as I told you that I'm going to talk more about the impact of generative artificial intelligence on marketing. I would like to only focus on marketing. Now, let's work on various skill sets. As you can see that a lot of discussion is happening that AI is not replacing people. People who understand AI would be replacing people. I believe so. The challenge before all of us would be a kind of a whole new skill sets that we need to focus on. This is going to have a very direct impact on the kind of the opportunities that you can see. The next which is following is that it will create opportunities. It will not reduce. So we should not be afraid of. And I think we are in education. So the biggest challenge that the biggest reflection that I would like to make that how is it going to influence education? That's again an area. So we all have started using various digital tools imparting education. But I think I'll be very honest, and Professor Pandya will vouch with me, is that we use various sophisticated software, with the tons of data that has been generated, collected using latest technology. I think what do we do with that data? I think the real challenge is that the data in itself cannot help you unless and until. And I think out of 10 theses I read, out of 10, 9 theses which I find which is runs into 300 pages, I hardly find a paragraph which is talking about implications. Because when you do research, why do you do research? You do research, either it should have a research, your research which you undertake, either it should improve, it should help you to formulate better strategy, or it should bring in some policy perspective. And when we look at those research studies which are carried out, I'm very sorry when maybe this is personal experience which I am sharing, that after having been awarded doctoral degree, we find that we fail to distinguish between and who is responsible, so we are responsible. So the point which I wanted to make is that we are under influence of technology, but then it does not mean that technology will be able to do everything. Let's I think the fight that is going on. In fact, one area on which probably in future, because it's a school of IT and school of management put together, I think the challenge is human intelligence versus machine intelligence. I think that is where. So the implications, I think, is extremely important. So it is creating new avenues, and yes, what will work today will not work tomorrow. What will work tomorrow certainly will not work day after tomorrow. I strongly believe all management program we must teach a course on managing business innovations. I think it is extremely important we start preparing our students, making them think about innovations. And generative AI provides data-driven insights. I think I'm going to talk about it. I've listed out some areas. Predicting consumer behavior. In fact, it is not generative AI. Let me tell you, we have moved to what we call it as predictive AI. I think that is where the whole science, and I'm afraid of, we will be out of the academics, or will be moving out of these. But then the generation who is sitting here is going to have a lot of opportunities, at the same time lot of challenges. Can we go to the next? That would be very interesting. So let's look at it. Now I think what kind of scenario we are going to have. Now this is basically, I would say that from a marketing perspective, I told you about customization. I think it's very important. The future battle would be what we call, it will be first, that how consistent you are, it means how creatively, how innovatively you create, you design, you deliver consistently, what I call it as a kind of an experience. That is the challenge that you need to have, and there I will tell you the level of tolerance. I believe, I always say that if somebody will talk about competition, I would say the competition that we face today, it is what decides. It's a click of mouse will decide whether you get business or somebody else will get. I think that is the level of competition that we are facing. So that is hyper personalization. I would call this, as you can see here, use of AI to analyze social media activity. Now somebody can just work on social media activity. I'll share one of my scholars, we have worked on what we call social network techniques. And in social network techniques, I don't know, those who have studied marketing probably be talking about what value creation. Value creation. Now whether it, see, these various, people they casually talk, we use this various social media, Facebook, TikTok, these, that. Is it adding value or not? We have carried out a work with reference to the state of Gujarat on value creation. Recently, Mr. Pandya, we have, worked on value creation with reference to various e-governance schemes which are implemented by the government of Gujarat. Every day now and then you find government making big noise about various e-governance schemes. How far, which level of awareness, the adoption, the use part. So please do not misunderstand that we want to criticize or we want, but then critically, is it really helping out? Whether it generates value, when it's a value creation, it is not just value, because I think, sir, just value-driven offering, I think it is extremely important. So the monetary value, the psychic value, the perceived value, there's a whole body, and there's a group of scholars that are working on it. And as I told you, now what is customer satisfaction that Karna was talking about, expectation versus experience? I think we will have to identify. So there probably I believe that you will have to think that how would you raise how would you identify and how would you fulfill and how would you raise the expectations of the customers under the technology. And then basically what customer expect, if you can deliver, that is what we call it as satisfaction, and if you can do it in a much better way, we call it delight. But then how in fact we have attempted to operationalize. Now I think, let me tell you, it's very simple with use of technology. The moment somebody enters into a retail outlet or a mall, till he or she comes out of each and every motion, each and every movement is being recorded, analyzed, and then probably, in fact, one stage now the world has moved that they use virtual assistants, and then they try to compare virtual assistant with the real customers, and then they try to. So I don't know, but then I think I was a student of commerce. Somebody taught me what we call scientific management, Patrick Taylor, where he talked about those which I hope you might have studied. Probably now it has been operational very actively. So that is the challenge that we are going to have. There's a customer social consciousness. What is that? That's a new area which is coming up. So I believe I want product which is authentic. It's very interesting, whatever studies that we have done, look at the Surat, look at the Rajkot, look at Baroda, look at Ahmedabad. I think you find a hell of a difference, in the behavioral patterns, the response tendencies, the values, authenticity. So this is, it's a new area which I believe somebody should work. In fact, let me tell you, universities, see, how do we carry out research in our country? We look at foreign textbooks, we look at foreign journals, we look at those models, and then we work on it. I think, I'm sorry, but that will not work. If this university is located in South Gujarat, I think our real contribution has to happen into South Gujarat. So to look at, I think that is where probably the focus has to go on. So you can see your customers today, what is social consciousness, or what is the cultural shift that I was talking about, is that today customers want what? Authenticity, transparency, and social responsibility. I'll just give a small example. That now we conduct our remedial classes. So yesterday was some challenge. Somebody came to me, sir, we remedial classes going to conduct because NEP says and all that. I asked a very simple question. That are you going to charge less fees? Student has you started to classes. Some student has come after 10 days, some has come after 1 month, somebody has come after 2 months. Are you going to teach them well? No, you're not going to teach them. Are you going to charge less fees? One of the important challenges that technology is going to raise for business is how do you decide the price? Am I correct or not? This is extremely important. Again, it goes back to what I call it as value-driven offering. How do we decide? There's one ad which recently you are talking about. Subnam Gill is talking about, no, you take 10% of LIC. I remember long back before 20 years when I wrote small article on LIC. I'll tell you, I really don't. I think I took one LIC policy in 88, and in 2013 they give me 1,50,000 rupees. What do I do with that money? So maybe the whole concept, I think I wrote at that point of time, that do we calculate the human life value? If you work for 40 years, what is the human life value? Probably my first love is economics, so probably I always tend to go on that side. So this is communication content. I think the way we are going to deal with that. I think I'm going to skip some of them. New markets. I think how much we are spending on. I remember information. Look at 24/7. What are we doing? We are all under influence of various, all kinds of devices that we use. How much are we spending on? I think there is. It's the next slide. I'm talking about infographics. I'll just go to that. So connectivity, interactivity, these are probably the areas which I am suggesting where probably the students who are sitting here, I think, I don't want to explain because I assume that you know much more. When you talk about communication, it's not just preparing an advertisement and then the kind of a frequency reach and impact that probably we were taught. The whole science has undergone a change where we have to look at search functionalities, the real-time guidance that is, because somebody sitting, you don't know at what time somebody would log in into your application and then what kind of experience your application, performance or application will deliver to him or her. I think it's mind-boggling when you look at. Can we go to the next slide? I'll just try to come on. So here probably I think see this is what is happening, and I would request all of you to focus more on what we call it at what I would call it as generation alpha. So look at it. These I have asked my schools not to offer a specialized in HR. We have discontinued HR specialization from this year. Because I'll tell you, most of the HR jobs, please don't misunderstand me, please don't challenge me, but I personally believe, writing wrong answers and doing some case study here and there, they'll say MBA HR, fine. But then what will you do if I admit somebody in MBA HR, I should be able to find a job for him. And most of the HR jobs now are becoming automated. They're all becoming automated. In fact, I'll tell you, look at, I think, like we go to bank, out of 10, even we are not supposed to go to bank. ATM, I don't know, I think, no, so they are talking about a card is not required. So probably, see, the speed at which the world is changing, it's mind-boggling, and then whether we like or not, it's going to influence. So look at some new market opportunities. I think great future for Indian higher education sector. In fact, I will tell you, I am asking the question that should we invest crores of rupees in building physical infrastructure for higher educational institutions or not? Or should we only focus on building research facilities? You need some equipment, you need some activities. So I think we develop center of excellence, but then when I look at center of excellence, how much you have spent in getting those equipments and the challenges that you face for maintaining those equipments. So I think these are probably, again, this is a new area, idea. In fact, the biggest challenge that I can find in commerce and management, it will be the world of ideas. I don't know, look at the ongoing shift which is likely to happen now. BSNL is fighting back, in terms of mobile revolution which was brought by BSNL. So ideation, I think this is where probably you need to, know. In fact, not only that, can we create? Now we are using technology to engineer a thought in the mind of consumers. And how can you create a kind of positive thought in the minds of consumers so that he or she would start thinking positively? When I was a student, my professor taught me, all those who studied marketing, the needs cannot be created. And I always said that for 40 years in my life, I said, needs are for survival and needs can we use various strategies to influence needs and convert into wants. Now I'm afraid that needs are created. The whole science, I think needs can be created, and there are so many needs. I look at those products which I think you are using, which your parents are not using. Needs have been created. And then the instant gratification. Instant gratification means you won't respond immediately. So you are not going to get second opportunity. I think that is the kind of competition that we have to face. So that is why we are talking about design thinking, design innovations. So original equipment, original design manufacturers and original equipment manufacturers, they all will sing together and come out. So I personally believe is that, let me tell you very honestly, I can see in India within 5 years, students would get registered for courses, not for degrees. Degrees are becoming, these degrees which you are talking about, they become irrelevant. They would come here if you have, like say, Smriti is here, if she has written a course on business data analytics, and if she can deliver, I would say students across the country would come and register, online and offline. It may happen, so students are going to pay fees for course, be very clear. Now this is the kind of a future. Isn't it? We are all talking about kind of an education system which I am afraid of would become redundant. Students are not going to get registered for degrees at all, maybe in near future. So if you have, that means I will tell you, if you design a course, if you have necessary infrastructure, support system, if you can deliver. This is again another area where I think market segmentation you are studying, I believe Each consumer is unique. Each consumer is unique. And I'll tell you, I will take one step further and I'll say that the same customer, I think we behave very differently in order to satisfy, the same need. So probably there is one concept which we talk in marketing, I don't know how many of you know about it, but that is known as secret needs. Each one of us carries secret needs. Some of you might have come because your classmate has come and is sitting here. You have nothing to do with what is happening in this conference. You are sitting here just because your, or might be it is mandatory, by Professor Pandya that no, you have to see it. Now we are taking pictures, so your report will be sent to management of that. So that is, I'm sorry for this kind of an example, but secret need. See, the whole research, I'm very sorry to say, I think the way we carry out research, what is research in Indian context? Identify a topic, go to library, find out 10-15 papers, make the summary of those 10-15 papers. Sometimes if you are, I don't know, somebody, my scholar, she was talking about bibliographic analysis. There are so many, there are so many techniques. They say, sir, you don't know, review of literature is done by a software, fine. Okay, good. But that review of literature will not tell you the gap you have to identify. So I think, the whole battle that we are talking about is that probably all of us, let's understand, we will have to develop all those research skills which are required. I am not against. We all will have to acquire those research skills which are required, because without those research skills we will not be able to survive. I am just giving you an example of a research, academic research, because it's my experience. So I'm trying to say, database is online. I think there is one phrase that has come up with what we call it as all-time online consumers. All-time online consumers. In fact, all-time online consumers is new. Can we go to the next one? Yeah. I think from here I would like to talk on this. I will not, I'm running out of time. Demographic. I think what is behavior? Probably, I'm sorry. Because we in commerce and business, what do? We do behavioral research. Talk about behavioral finance and all that. So what is behavior? I think when I was a student, I'll look at what? I will look at age, I will look at gender, I will look at income, I will look at occupation, and then I'll design my strategy. Am I correct? It has become redundant. Behavior, what is that? We try to make people use our products in order to increase the sales. Am I correct? That is behavioral. So, what is behavior? So, body and mind. So, that means this is demographic and this is psychographic. So, when you make the total of demographics and psychographic, what you get is behavioral. Now, the challenge that we are facing is, I'll tell you, you are here. In this conference, we are talking about, please don't do any research on demographics, behavioral and psychographics, because or any area of research that you do, either in demographics, behavioral or psychographics, you are here infographics. Are you getting me? And that is what Professor Pandya in his initial opening remarks was talking about knowledge. This is extremely important. We will have to use the technology in a very smart way. And I talked about optimal price. I think price would vary. I don't know to name one university which I know where they would admit students, each student is admitted in their private university with a different fee structure. Same MBA class, 30 students, all 30 of it, different fees. I think, I believe, fine, that's good, I'm happy. That is going to happen, that's going to be the norm. Today, we are not ready, sir, because we all know there is one fee, one standard structure, there is one fee that you are going to charge, there is one way we are going to evaluate. I think today we may not appreciate, but I believe we are heading towards this. So I think those my younger colleagues over here, these slides I have prepared for them. These are the areas if you want to do a research. Please focus on behavioral data, actual shopping. I think this is extremely important. There are various, technological support that we are having, product modification, and then one of the areas which I have put a sentiment analysis. It's extremely important. So this is one area on which you should work. And I think ethnographic research, this is extremely again important. That's what I was talking about. That maybe what happens. The biggest challenge that I find in technology is that what happens if unfortunately my wife uses my mobile phone to search something, The other day I was telling her that why I'm getting this, WhatsApp message from Gauri Sari. Now this is the challenge that I think now see, I want you to work on these, because I hope you understand that, it tracks, and then I hope all of you are quite used to, if you watch, they in fact, but what happens sometimes your device is being used by somebody else. I think technology cannot distinguish. I think the biggest challenge that we have with technology, as of now, technology cannot distinguish that who is using that device. Am I correct or not? I believe that people will work on it, but this is very interesting. So, what I want to say that all these psychological processes like perceptual learning, motivation, attitude, beliefs, see, the science would remain the same, the foundation would remain the same, so don't misunderstand it. But then what is required is our strategy to do research. These are the issues that are coming up. I thought this would serve some purpose looking at your conference of commerce and management, because if I talk about one area, I don't think that's going to, but we are all under heavy influence, whether you study marketing or not, but these, I think, these are the areas on which probably we are going to have. And as I told you, now companies are using virtual responses. In all marketing, before they design any marketing strategy, the tons of data that they collect, they try to find out the virtual respondents, and then they go and they get the feedback from the customer. Now, this is what I'm saying has already been implemented. In a world of research. Can you go to the next slide? Now, this is what I will say. I think this is where we are going to talk. This is the future. This is going to be the Indian market. If I look at these digital natives. What is digital natives? Mom has become cyber mom. Kitchen has become digital kitchen. Am I correct or not? Look at any vehicle. Look at any product that you use. I don't know, should we call it smart or not? So I believe, please remember, already these digital natives have come. I find it, 3 months or 6 months old baby, or I know 1 or 2 year child is crying and fighting for what mobile phones. And I think parents have to work very conscious not to have exposure to mobile phones. So we are now, I think, any research that you want to do, because you are a student of commerce and management, please focus on digital natives. What is digital natives, which is known as I told you, Generation Alpha? Those who were born after 2010. They have no idea, they can't think of life without internet. Are you getting me? They are using so many smart devices. So that is one. All-time online consumers, I think, you thought, I will develop a very nice website of my university. But then, I think those days have gone. People may not go. They want what? They want everything at the fingertips. Because you cannot access. Now, the whole strategy that you have adopted to reach to your customer has now undergone a big shift. All-time online consumers, techno-savvy consumers, I think this is technology. I believe this is, India has proved that, and I would say that we are techno-savvy, personalization, I have already talked about, instant gratification, tolerance. I am very sorry. When I look at Generation Z, even millennials, Generation Z, and now what I look at Generation Alpha, the challenge is, I am sorry, but yes sir, they give up very fast. They are switchers. They are switchers, they are not like heart loyal like us. When I look at them, there's very interesting research somebody can do on, it is Generation Z versus Generation Alpha. Look at the demographics, look at the psychographics. I think these are the issues that are coming up. Please don't do, those product price place promotion kind of a thing has not become redundant. Identify one small micro area and work on it. So instant gratification, then sustainability. I think they want that, I think it's again very interesting, and I'm very happy when I was just reading a couple of articles. So sustainability. I think we are all looking at eco-friendly products. Isn't it? Whenever we buy any products, I think look at any product that you buy. I think that is what in my first line I was talking about. What's called climate change, educational shift. Yes, I think this country is going great. India is going great in terms of IT adoption, especially in education sector. This is one area on which I wish somebody should do research. What are kind of education shift? How are, banking, look at insurance, look at other industries. How education industry of this country is responding to the kind of technological shift which are taking place. Am I correct or not? in fact, I'll tell you, I say it at MSU also, why should we develop a computer lab at all? We don't need to develop computer lab. We really don't need computer lab. In fact, I'm going against that. In fact, what has happened is that we are in the era of agility. Isn't it? Time and distance both have become dead. Under the influence of technology, we'll talk about commerce and management. So, I believe this is one area. Safety and privacy, I think this is, I'm sorry, my son knows more, he's more smart, he's more adaptable. I find it extremely challenging. Now, with this generation, Alpha, is growing. I believe the rules of the game will undergo a big change in terms of safety and privacy. Are you getting me? So adoption is one. So one is acceptance, the second is adoption, third is use, and fourth is expertise, and fifth is advocacy. Now I think that journey from awareness to advocacy, the whole science of consumer behavior, one can take up one area and then can do research, and then as I told you, this generation Alpha, they are talking about equity, they are talking about equality, that is DI, they are talking about diversity, and they are talking about inclusiveness. Can you go to the last? I'll just point out, I'm sorry for the time that I'm taking. So I believe this is what I personally believe. I'm sorry, I've taken an unconvinced route for conference. I don't want to talk about HR, marketing, finance. You are doing it. I would request with folded hands, please come out of it. And I am very sorry when I meet some teacher who would say that, oh, I'm MBA marketing, my PhD is in marketing. So he or she would say, sir, my area of specialism is marketing. Then I look at him and say, after 40 years, I don't dare to say that my specialization is in marketing. I think when you are hosting the conference of commerce and management, the challenge before us is, what do we expect a graduate, who comes out of either commerce or arts or science or for that matter, and discipline? What are those technical skills? But there are some skills that we really need to impart, we really need to develop, especially from the young generation that is preparing for commerce and management. So I'm very happy. Thank you, Professor Pandya. I apologize for extending time, but I believe this is what this would set the right tone for the conference, and looking forward for the outcome of the conference, maybe from the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So thank you so much for giving us your perspective that will be changing our perspectives when it comes to demographics, marketing, and the trends that we need to watch in 2024 as teachers also. And you have rightly discussed all the challenges that your teachers are going to face because of this data-driven. Maybe the subjects are also getting data-driven, market is also getting data-driven, and we as a marketers, personally, I have learned many things from your slides. So in recognition to your invaluable presence, let's felicitate and present a token of appreciation to Professor Dr. Parimal Vyas. And for this I invite Dr. Kiran Pandya.
You won't believe, and Dr. Kunal knows that we wanted to begin with the guest lecture only. We didn't want any formality. We didn't want even dias. But then that would be too.
We do that at all. When we all stay, we start. The speakers are one after the other. And whoever is wants a break can go immediately. So that's fine. I'm so happy.
So moving ahead to conclude this inaugural session, I invite Ms. Nimisa Chariwala to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee of the National Conference, it's my honor and privilege to express a word of thanks for this wonderful conference. First and foremost, we would like to express our profound gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Professor Parimal Vyas, Provost of Auro University. Sir, we are greatly honored by your gracious presence. Your scholarly delivered inaugural address has set the tone for the conference. We have immensely benefited from your insights, valuable observations, and perspectives. We express sincere gratitude to our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Rupa Reginitsuri, former Group Chief Economist of L&T Finance Limited, who will be very shortly delivering a keynote address through recorded video lecture. We are sure that we will be benefited through her invaluable insights and scholarship. We are truly grateful to her for sparing valuable time despite from her busy schedule. UTU is looking forward for meaningful association also in future. We would like to convey our sincere appreciation to our esteemed Provost, Dr. Dinesh Shah sir, and Shri Kirit Patel sir, Vice President of UCA Tarsadia University. Their transformational leadership and unwavering commitment have been instrumental in all-round progress of the university and providing us with the ample of opportunities for growth and advancement. Thank you so much to Dr. Rosie Patel and other departmental heads for their valuable presence. We would like to express our sense of gratitude to Dr. Chinmay Desai, Registrar of UCA Tarsadia University, for extending his support in organizing this conference. Organized conference becomes easier with the support of administration. We convey our deepest appreciation to learned speakers, Dr. Smruti Bulsari, Dr. Sunil Bhatt, and Shri Deepak Ahuja, who have agreed to share their invaluable knowledge, perspectives, and insight with us during this conference. We appreciate their dedication and love for the academia. We express our gratitude to all the delegates, researchers, and industry professionals. We take cognizance of their gracious presence in making this conference successful. Your presence has provided great inspiration to all of us. The conference would not have been possible without the tireless efforts and unwavering dedication of the organizing team led by Dr. Kiran Pandya, Dr. Ratna Bhatti, Dr. Vijay Gondalia, and Dr. Krunal Patel. We are also grateful to our hardworking faculty members and the team of volunteers and technical staff. Their contribution is invaluable. We also express our gratitude to creative team, Dr. Sabin Nayak, Ms. Nikki Mehta, and Heta Shukla for beautiful poster making. We look forward to the lasting impact this conference will have on our personal and professional lives, and we eagerly anticipate the opportunities for future collaboration and growth. Thank you all those who have directly and indirectly contributed for the conference. Thank you so much.